Today we're going to look at the area model for long division. And we're going to start with this problem. This is the example that we did in class today. Amanda was throwing a huge party for her school. 3,122 students were going to be coming to the social. For dinner, Amanda is going to order pizza. Each large pizza has 8 slices. If she wants to order one piece of pizza for each student, how many pizzas does she need to order? So that is our setup. So step 1 of the area model is to draw a rectangle and write the divisor at the top and the dividend to the right. Step 2, I'm going to erase this for right now. Step 2 is to use the largest chunk that you can take out of the area and subtract it from the dividend that's off to the right. So I like to think of this sort of similarly to the standard algorithm. You know that you can't divide 3 by 8, so you would take 31 divided by 8. And about how many times does 31 go in, or can you divide 31 by 8? So in this case, I know that 8 times 4 is 32, so that would be too many. So we have to use 8 times 3. 8 times 3 gives us 24. So that means that 8 times 30 gives us 240. And that means 8 times 300 gives us 2,400. So you can see here I have no zeros, and in the answer I have no zeros. In this problem I have 1 0, so I have 1 0 in the answer. And here I have 2 zeros, so I added 2 zeros at the end. So 8 times 300 is 2,400, and then I'm going to subtract 2,400 from my dividend. So now I'm left with 722. Okay, now I will see how many times 8 goes into 72. Again, I know that 8 doesn't go into 7, so I'm going to skip and I'm going to go to 72. Now I know that 8 times 9 is 72, so that means that 8 times 90 gives me 720. And I'm going to subtract that piece out, and I'm left with 2. Because 2 is smaller than my divisor, I know that 2 is my remainder. So step 4 is to add up the numbers on the left side of the rectangle and then put the remainder at the end. So 300 plus 90 gives us 390, remainder 2. Now, because we know that the pizza shop's not going to sell us 2 individual slices of pizza, Amanda will need 391 pizzas. So we're going to start with this first problem. And I'm going to just put it up here. So the first thing that I'm going to do in solving is just draw in my rectangle. And you know I have to write with the mouse, so it's always really, really messy. I'm going to write the divisor up at the top, and then 8,743 out here to the side. Now, I know that 7 will go into 8 one time, so that means that 7 times 1,000 is going to give me 7,000, and that's a nice big chunk to take away. So 7 times 1,000 is going to give me 7,000, and then I'm going to go ahead and subtract. So when I do my subtraction, I have 1,743. Now, 7 into 17 is going to give me 2. So I know that 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 20 is going to give me 140. And 7 times 200 is going to give me 1,400. So that's my next chunk. So I'm going to go ahead and take away 1,400. and I'm going to subtract to get 343. So 7 into 34 now is going to give me 4. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 40 is going to give me 280. And that's my next chunk. So I'm going to take away 280. And now I have 63. 63 divided by 7, whoops, is 9. And I'm going to squeeze the number 63 in there. And that means I have no remainder for this. So to solve this, I would add 1,240 and 9 together to get 1,249. Now if I want to do a 2-digit divisor, I'm going to solve it very similarly. I'm going to draw my rectangle first. I'm going to write my divisor above my rectangle. Ooh, that's a 3. And then the dividend will come over here to the right. So I want to take 13 into 90 to start off. Now I know that 13 and 13 will give me 26. And 26 times 2 gives me 52. So that means that 13 times 4 is going to give me 52. 13 times 40 will give me 520. 13 times 400 will give me 5,200. I just started with something easy, something that I just knew. Oops. So now I can go ahead and subtract 5,200. And this is going to be my first chunk that I'm subtracting. Ooh, that is so messy today. All right. And now I can see that 400 would be too big. So I'm going to go with 200 this time. Because like I said, it's just easy for me to work with. So I know that 13 times 2 is 26. So this is going to give me 2,600. And that's the next chunk to take away. And now even 13 times 100 is going to be too big. So I might want to come out here just to save myself some time and see what happens if I multiply 13 times 9. Because I don't want to just do 130 because that's going to take a really long time to do. So I'm going to come out here to the side and just see what happens. So that's going to give me 117. So I'm going to go ahead and do 13 times 9 is going to give me 117. So that means 13 times 90 is going to give me 1,170. So I'm going to take that away. And I went with 9 because I knew that this really wasn't all that big. 100 times 13 really wasn't that much bigger than I needed, so I figured 90 would be a good guess. So that's going to leave me with 123 left. And I know that 13 times 9 is 117, so I'm going to go with that. And I'm going to take that away. And that's going to give me a remainder of 6. So now I just have to add these numbers on the right. So I've got 400 plus 200, and that's going to give me 600, 90, and then 9. with a remainder of 6. All right, guys, for 1 extra credit point each, if you get them correct, you can solve these 2 problems using the area model. I would also like you to check your answers by using multiplication. So to get your extra credit, you're going to solve these 2 problems, and you're going to check using multiplication. Have a great night.